you said after we listened to those channelings that what's coming up for you around a theme in your life perhaps and other lives was about anger, and you weren't sure where it came from. Okay, so is there a feeling of anger that you can tune into? And where do you feel that in your body?
Where do I feel it? Actually, like right here in the hip area.
Okay. And the memory that you're tuning into, that's in this lifetime, or where's it coming from?
See.
So just do a round and tune into it.
Okay.
Asking guides and higher self to help you tune into this, wherever this may come from. So even though I've got this anger in my hip pelvic area,
Even though I've got this anger in my hip area,
I accept myself,
I accept myself,
and I'm open to being able to find where this anger comes from.
and I'm open to being able to find where this anger comes from.
Whether it's in this life or another,
Whether it's in this life or another,
I want to process it and release it.
I want to process it and release it.
This anger in my hip area,
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 I wonder where it comes from.
I wonder where it comes from.
This anger in my hip area,
This anger in my hip area,
I want to follow it all the way back to its origin,
I want to follow it all the way back to its origin,
wherever it began,
wherever it began,
in this life or another.
in this life or another.
This anger,
This anger,
it's still in my hip area,
it's still in my hip area,
and I want to release it,
and I want to release it
wherever it's come from.
wherever it's come from.
Asking guides and higher self to show me
Asking guides and higher self to show me
where this anger comes from in my hip area.
where this anger comes from in my hip area.
Tuning into this anger in my hip area.
Tuning into this anger in my hip area.
Okay. So is anything coming up?
Yeah, there is something coming up. Only I'm not really feeling the anger. It's like I feel like I was angry for too many years, and I'm an old man now, and the words are, I'm just gonna let these people kill themselves, and I've heard that in so many lifetimes. I'm just gonna let these people, I'm gonna step back and just let these people kill themselves.
Okay. So even though I was an angry young man,
I was an angry young man,
and now I'm an old man,
and now I'm an old man,
and I'm processing and releasing that anger
and I'm processing and releasing that anger
by saying, I'm just going to let them kill themselves.
by saying, I'm just gonna let them kill themselves.
There's nothing I can do about it.
There's nothing I can do about it.
I've been angry for way too long,
I've been angry for way too long.
and it's time to release it and let it go.
It's time to release it and let it go.
I'm an old man now,
I'm an old man now.
and I want to release all the anger.
I want to release all the anger
In my hips,
all the anger in my hips,
all the anger I've had all my lifetime,
all the anger I've had all my lifetime,
all the anger I've had many lifetimes.
all the anger I've had many lifetimes.
I've heard myself say this many lifetimes.
Heard myself say this many lifetimes.
I'm just going to let them kill themselves.
I'm just going to let them kill themselves.
There's nothing I can do anyhow.
There's nothing I can do.
I'm powerless.
I'm powerless.
I've had all this anger,
I've had all this anger,
and it doesn't serve me to hold it in my hip area,
and it doesn't serve to hold it in my hip area.
so I'm just going to release it
I'm just going to release it
through all the lifetimes I held it.
through all the lifetimes I held it.
Out of my body now,
Out of my body now.
out of all of those bodies.
Out of all of those bodies.
And I thank the multidimensional layers of my cells
And I thank the multi-dimensional layers of my cells
and my DNA
and my DNA
for processing and releasing it
for processing and releasing this
all the way back to all those lifetimes,
all the way back to all those lifetimes.
especially the one when I was an old man.
Especially the one when I was an old man.
where I said, I'm just going to let them kill themselves.
I said, I'm just going to let them kill themselves.
So take a deep breath, have some water. So when we're doing this work with a lot of intention and calling on the body and all the multidimensional layers and the intention of sending it back through all those lifetimes, often you don't need to see each lifetime.
Okay.
It's a more powerful level that we're working with. It's not just consciousness and this physical body, it's a multidimensional physicality that we're working and sending energy through. So just tap here now, and what's coming up for you now? Is there still anger in your hips?
It's a sense of panic that I made the wrong decision. Is there anger in my hips? It's more just a horrible feeling in my chest. I feel like I've been running and running, and yet I know I haven't run anywhere.
Okay.
I don't know how I got where I am, how I arrived at this destination.
Even though I've got this horrible feeling in my chest.
Even though I've got this horrible feeling in my chest.
Like I've done something wrong.
Like I've done something wrong.
And I've been running and I'm not running away from it.
And I've been running, and I know I'm not running away from it.
It's still there.
It's still there.
And it's represented in this horrible feeling in my chest.
And it's represented in this horrible feeling in my chest.
I want to process and release it now.
I want to process it and release it now.
Asking my body to process and release it.
Asking my body to process it and release it.
This horrible feeling that I've been running away from.
This horrible feeling that I've been running away from.
Never been able to run away from it.
I've never been able to run away from it.
I'm processing and releasing it all the way back to all of its origins.
I'm processing and releasing it all the way back to all of its origins.
To all the head. All this anger.
All this anger.
All this guilt.
All this guilt.
This feeling like I did something wrong.
This feeling like I did something wrong.
I did something wrong.
I did something wrong.
I can feel it, this horrible feeling in my chest.
I can feel this horrible feeling in my chest.
And I want to release it.
And I want to release it.
Instructing all the multidimensional layers of my body.
Instructing all the multidimensional layers of my body.
All the quantum energy.
All the quantum energy.
To release it all the way back to all of the lifetimes I felt this horrible feeling.
To release it all the way back to all of the lifetimes that I felt this horrible feeling.
This horrible feeling that I did something wrong.
This horrible feeling that I did something wrong.
I don't know that I can forgive myself.
I don't know that I can forgive myself.
But maybe I can try.
But maybe I can try.
It doesn't serve me to hang on to this horrible feeling.
It doesn't serve me to hang on to this horrible feeling.
I want to process and release it.
I want to process it and release it.
Even if I did do something wrong.
Even if I did do something wrong.
I can't change what I did.
I can't change what I did.
But maybe I can forgive myself.
But maybe I can forgive myself.
By forgiving those I wronged.
By forgiving those I wronged.
And asking for forgiveness from those I wronged.
And asking for forgiveness from those I wronged.
Processing and releasing that horrible feeling in my chest.
Processing and releasing that horrible feeling in my chest.
I did something wrong.
I did something wrong.
And I'm not running from it anymore.
I'm not running from it anymore.
I'm asking for forgiveness.
I'm asking for forgiveness.
I'm asking to forgive myself.
I'm asking to forgive myself.
It was all in the grand plan of things at a soul level.
It was all in the grand plan of things at a soul level.
And I forgive myself on a human level.
And I forgive myself on a human level.
In those lifetimes and now.
In those lifetimes and now.
I'm no longer running. I forgive myself.
I'm no longer running. I forgive myself.
And I send that forgiveness to my chest.
And I send that forgiveness to my chest.
Take a deep breath. How's that feeling?
It feels pretty good. Definitely a lot calmer.
Did anything come up while you were doing that when we were talking about doing horrible things?
It was in a lifetime that it was a relatively humble, quiet lifetime, but I was actually very aware of the other lifetimes at that point. I had pretty good access to some ancient writings and things that other people did not know and understand. And I knew that in my past lifetimes, I used a lot of force with it to defend myself. And I sort of figured out later that I could use it, I could use that same writings, the same, to help everyone stay calm, to help them actually get through this. And yet my gut reaction was, well, I'll show them my great power. And even though
I showed them my great power, and I could have used my power to help them. I accept myself. And the way I selfishly used my great power. That feeling in my body. I used my power selfishly. That I'll show them feeling. They wanted it. Mm-hmm.
They wanted to see it.
Mm-hmm. They wanted to see my power. And I showed them. Mm-hmm.
Killed a bunch of other people in the process, but I didn't really think about that at the time.
Mm-hmm. I killed people in the process.
I
didn't think about it at the time.
I didn't really know that it would happen. I didn't really think about it at the time.
Mm-hmm. I was just interested in showing them my power. I didn't know what the consequences would be. I accept myself for showing my power. I can't change what I did. But I want to release that feeling of guilt. That I didn't help them with my power. That I selfishly used it. And didn't realize the consequences. I don't know if I can forgive myself. But maybe I can ask forgiveness for those souls. From those souls. There was a higher learning and pattern in it at a soul level for all of us.
There was a higher learning pattern for all of those souls. I feel that we're all still together. We're still bound in confusion, in not just anger, helplessness. Confusion, helplessness. We thought as a group we were all doing the right thing. We wanted to get away from these conventional powers of persecution and shitty, not witchcraft, but fear of witchcraft and fear of anything going outside our society.
It feels like we're still trapped in that fear as a group. Trapped in that confusion. And I want to release us all from the confusion. Asking to be released from the confusion.
Asking to be released from the confusion.
It no longer serves us.
It no longer serves any of us.
Asking to be connected to our higher souls.
Asking to be connected to our higher souls.
So we each see our own higher learning.
So we each see our own higher learning.
Releasing the confusion.
Releasing the confusion.
Releasing the guilt.
Releasing the guilt.
Letting us all know that we're free to be ourselves.
Letting us all know that we're free to be ourselves.
We no longer need to be connected in the confusion.
We no longer need to be connected in the confusion.
Asking for forgiveness.
Asking for forgiveness.
Forgiving myself.
Forgiving myself.
Releasing the confusion.
Releasing the confusion.
Dissolving the guilt.
Dissolving the guilt.
It's okay to step into my power.
It's okay to step into my power.
I can use my power to help others.
I can use my power to help others.
I choose to use my power to help others.
I choose to use my power to help others.
And I send that energy through all my lifetimes.
And I send that energy through all my lifetimes.
How does that feel?
You know, I didn't feel particularly bad using certain power to, like, you know, annihilate these other people that were also using their power in very forceful ways. I think I honestly had been at peace with that. But, you know, I mean, I felt bad at first, but I got over it. It was the actual... It's surprisingly hard to forgive yourself for just collateral damage, just being so short-sighted as to not know that my friends and family would be killed as a direct result of, you know, my own actions. And I don't even know that most of them even saw it that way, but I certainly did. I mean, I knew in the end I could have handled it differently. Maybe they didn't know because they just wanted a leader.
So even though they just wanted a leader, and I yielded my power,
I forced my power on others. Yeah,
I forced my power on others, and I didn't realize the collateral damage.
I didn't realize the collateral damage
and the effect it would have on my family. I accept myself. And all my reactions and responses. I didn't realize there'd be collateral damage. I was just yielding my power.
I was yielding my power, and I was angry. I did not see through my anger.
I didn't see through my anger. They wanted a leader.
They wanted power.
I gave them power.
Yeah. I gave them something to look forward to, you know. But I thought we were all going to get through it okay.
I thought we'd get through it okay.
I
didn't realize there'd be collateral damage. All my anger. I didn't see the collateral damage. Releasing my anger. Releasing my need to yield that power. Because of my anger. Releasing my guilt. For all the collateral damage. Letting them all know at a soul level. That I'm sorry. For the collateral damage. I'm sorry that I didn't see through my anger. Asking for forgiveness. Receiving that forgiveness. Forgiving myself enough to receive that forgiveness. Releasing my anger with that forgiveness. It's okay to have power. Without anger. It's okay to have power to help people.
It's okay to have power to help people.
I choose to have power to help people.
I choose to have power to help people.
How does that feel?
I can actually see myself knowing something and feeling like I can share it, instead of hiding it or whatever. I could see myself being more articulate and just having people be more accepting. I mean, normally I see lack of acceptance. I don't really care because I've had that kind of power before. But I think for the first time I can sort of see see it relating to me, not just someone else, not just respecting and admiring someone else. I can see myself calmly and carefully and in a very higher knowing sense have that calm power that helps people and sharing it, not using it like it's mine, because
Yes.
it never was mine in the first place. At the very core of it all, I knew that was our purpose from the beginning, was to create a better world, a better place, and things went sideways. It's going to happen.
So there's more power in giving power away to others in the way of helping them.
And I actually see that now, even from that lifetime perspective. I mean, I see these, even then when I was seeing like the wailing and the sadness of these people being executed and burned and suffocated and stuff, I still just saw them as scared followers. I didn't see them as somebody that I could have shared all this power with, that I could have taken the young and created. Maybe I wanted to just shield them from what I thought would be a horrible ending, but it didn't occur to me that it was about sharing all of this. I didn't think they were ready.
Even though I didn't think
Does
they
this
were ready.
remind you of anyone in history? Only everybody we know in history, right? Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
I
right.
didn't,
Even though I didn't think they were ready for this power.
even though I didn't think they were ready for this power.
And so I didn't give it away.
And so I didn't give it away.
I just yielded it on everyone.
I did. I used it when I saw fit, I think. I mean, now I see that.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way I saw power back then.
and the way I saw power back then.
Even though I yielded my power when I wanted to.
Even though I yielded my power when I wanted to.
And I can still see the executions and the wailing and the torture.
And I can still see the executions and the wailing and the torture.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and all my reactions.
and all my reactions.
And I forgive myself
And I forgive myself.
and ask forgiveness for all those that were tortured.
I ask for forgiveness for all those that were tortured
And put to death.
and put to death.
And I choose to use my power more wisely now.
I choose to use my power more wisely now.
In honour of all of those who died then.
In honor of all those who died then.
Thanking them for the lesson I've learned.
Thanking them for the lesson I've learned.
For the lesson they helped to create with me.
For the lesson they helped to create with me.
For their own learning and lessons.
For their own learning and lessons.
That we agreed upon at a soul level.
That we agreed upon at a soul level.
I'm grateful for the learning.
I'm grateful for the learning.
And for their part in it.
And for their part in it.
And I release my guilt.
And I release my guilt.
As I thank them for their part.
As I thank them for their part.
And for the learning I've got from that lesson.
For the learning that I've received from that lesson.
And I ask for their forgiveness.
And I ask for their forgiveness.
As I release my guilt.
As I release my guilt.
Even when I hear their wailing.
Even when I hear their wailing.
Even when I see them being executed.
Even when I see them being executed.
I thank them at a soul level.
I thank them at a soul level.
For helping me to realise the learning and the lesson.
For helping me to realize the learning and this lesson.
to give my power away to help others.
To give my power away to help others.
And to realise they are ready.
And to realize they are ready.
They're ready to receive my power.
They are ready to receive my power. This knowledge that I uncovered, something.
That they can use for
They
themselves.
can use it too.
Good. How's that feel?
It's fun. It's just comical how obvious it becomes when you know,
When you tap into it now.
when you just look at it from tapping into it from a different angle instead of, why does my back hurt? Why does, it's like, yeah, it feels okay. I don't know if it will completely cure back pain, and that's okay.
So what do you feel is there in your back?
Well, I'd always felt this feeling of almost like an arthritic, like old bones. Even when I was a small child, just feeling like old bones in this area. Dried up, like a tomb. Wow.
Even though I feel this dry bone feeling in the air of my pelvis and back.
Even though I've often felt this feeling, this dried bone feeling in my pelvis and my back.
Like I'm in a tomb.
Like I'm in a tomb.
I accept myself in this feeling.
I accept myself and this feeling.
And I ask the multi-dimensional layers of my body.
And I ask the multi-dimensional layers of my body.
To process and release it now.
To process it and release it now.
It no longer belongs trapped in my body.
It no longer belongs trapped in my body.
And I instruct my body to release it.
And I instruct my body to release it.
Thanking my back for holding on to it.
Thanking my back for holding on to it.
Processing and releasing it now.
Processing and releasing it now.
All the way back to when I was those bones.
All the way back to when I was those bones.
Those old arthritic bones.
Those old arthritic bones.
Those old arthritic bones in a tomb.
Old arthritic bones in a tomb.
Processing and releasing everything trapped in my back.
Processing and releasing everything trapped in my back, and how I used to say there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to let you all kill yourselves.
That feeling in my back.
The feeling in my back.
There's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do.
I'm just going to let you kill
I'm
yourselves.
just going to let you kill yourselves. I can't stop you. I can't enlighten you. I can't seem to help you see the light, and it's been so long, and I'm old, and I don't have the strength to continue. You can just kill me if you want to. I'm okay with that, but don't make me continue in this position of farce of power that this power you also desperately want to hang on to, and I don't care.
All this pain in my back.
All this pain in my back.
I want to release it all.
I want to release it all.
I've held on to it for far too long.
I've held on to it for far too long.
I'm asking that old man to release it.
I'm asking that old man to release it, telling him it's okay.
It's okay to release it all.
It's okay to release it all.
Tapping on him to process and release it.
Tapping on him to process and release it.
It's okay to release it now.
It's okay to release it now.
It's safe to release it now.
It's safe to release it now. I think he feels better, a little quieter. I mean, he became verbally quiet, but just as a function of giving up, feels more at peace now.
Yep. Good. All right, we'll see what other layers come up as we go through the weekend
Okay.
to work on, because there might be other layers. But